Hello and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. My name is Cecilia, and on behalf of OTC Markets, as well as our co-host, Social Suite, we're very pleased you've joined us for our next live presentation from Novo Resources. Please note you can submit questions in the box to the left of the slides. You can also view a company's availability for one-on-one meetings through the Schedule Meetings tab found on the conference platform. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Mike Spreadborough, Executive Co-Chairman of Novo Resources, which trades on the OTCQX Best Market under the symbol NSRPF and on the TSX under the symbol NVO. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you very much for that introduction. So I'm Mike Spreadborough. I'm the Executive Co-Chairman of Novo Resources. I do ask you to refer to our corporate presentation, which is on the website. Today's presentation will be a bit of a snapshot of that broader detailed presentation. So welcome, and I hope you get a lot of good information out of today's presentation. Normal cautionary statement, we'll leave you to read that off our website in your leisure. As you'll hear today, Novo Resources works across a very large land area in Australia. We work with 9 different traditional owners, and each of those owners have a unique culture. So we respect that culture, and we respect all members of these Indigenous communities and to the elders past, present and emerging. So here's Novo. We're a very unique greenfields gold exploration company with an exceptional land package across the northern part of Western Australia in Australia. So we have over 10,500 square kilometres of land. That's probably about somewhere around about 70% of the land mass of the state of Connecticut. So it's a very large land mass. As you can see here, our whole focus is on large exploration projects. We're looking for those projects that have the potential to be developed into 1 million ounce projects. You'll hear me talk today with some key exploration targets and projects. Becher, Nunyerry North, they're both in the Egina Gold Camp, and also the Balla project. So if you look at the overview on the right-hand side of this slide, you can see those names. Becher there up to the top, and Nunyerry North, and then up the very, very top, you've got Balla. So we'll continue to refer to those projects as we go through the presentation. A key milestone for us has been our recent investment with De Grey Mining. They've made a $10 million cornerstone investment into Novo Resources, but we've also made a significant joint venture over our Becher project. So we'll expand on that today. That Egina JV is very important to us. It really de-risks our exploration progress at Becher, which is an exciting project, and allows us to focus on other key projects across our portfolio. And we should never forget, in the bottom of Western of Australia, we have our Belltopper project in Victoria, and we'll cover that as well. So a very large portfolio across a very large land mass in Australia. We've got a very experienced board. Our board has people with legal, sustainability, finance and geological experience. But importantly, our whole focus in exploration is led by Kaz DeLuca. Kaz has huge international experience in gold across a range of countries and a range of companies. And she brings a great wealth of experience to our effort to drive our development and look for large gold projects. So here's our current balance sheet. We've got about $27 million Canadian in the bank. We do have a portfolio, which is detailed on the website, of around about $25 million. That portfolio is quite illiquid. It's unlisted investment, so it's not available to us easily, but sitting at a market cap of around about $65 million Canadian. As you can see in our share register with the investment of De Grey in our business, and we'll talk about De Grey in a minute, they have a position of about 11.6% of the register. IMC, which is based in Singapore, is 6.7%, but some really big, well-known international project developers, people, great supporters of the mining industry, both Eric Sprott and Mark Creasy here in Australia, have good positions in our business, as well as Crestcut Capital out of Denver, and the mining house of Agnico Eagle has around 2.6%. So we've got a very strong shareholder base, very supportive shareholder base, and they really are supporting our progress as we move forwards. So here's a close picture of the northern part of Western Australia, this landmass of 10,500 square kilometres of tenure that we have. If we start on the eastern side, the eastern part is really dominated by the Nunyerry Gold Project. This is a project that we've had for a while. Unfortunately, given economics at the moment, that project's in care and maintenance, but we still are really moving forwards at looking at exploration potential. And we've recently announced that we have got a strategic review looking at opportunities to monetize that asset for our shareholders. Above Nullagine is our East Pilbara project at Bamboo and Strattons, where we'll shortly do some drilling. In the centre of our portfolio is our main focus at the moment. It's what we call the Edgina Gold Camp. Bookended at the top by Becher, which is the large project that we've done a joint venture with De Grey, and at the bottom we have Nunyerry North. So we'll talk more about those. Just north of that Edgina Gold Camp, you'll see the Balla project. That's a 100-kilometre zone of tenements that we have focused on shear zones that we'll talk in a minute. And on the very left-hand side around Purdy's North, on the western areas, are tenements that have got a lot of potential for non-gold commodities, copper, nickel, lithium. We're in a process at the moment of divesting those tenements. Novo is very focused on being a sole gold explorer focus. We do allow our exploration teams to go looking for other commodities, and where we do find those commodities, we'll look at a way to monetize that for our shareholders. But really that focus is on us looking for those 1 million ounce gold projects that we can bring into resource. So let's talk about De Grey. For those that aren't aware, De Grey Mining, it's a ASX listed under the symbol of DG. Very large, a $2 billion Western Australian gold developer. Their project is currently in the middle of a DFS, which will come out towards the end of this quarter. They have reported over 11 million ounce resource. So this is a huge development project. It will have a mine life of over 10 years, producing over 500,000 ounces a year. So very, very large project. So if you look at the picture, in grey is the De Grey mining tenements, and in dark green are the tenements that we are now joint venturing with De Grey. De Grey's been working in this area over 5 years. They have probably an exceptional knowledge of the geology, so they will bring that to the joint venture. And it will also allow us to focus on other areas through our exploration. The exciting thing about Becher is it's an exciting project. It will be very close to the processing plant that will be developed by De Grey. So Novo shareholders will benefit in that infrastructure. The joint venture that we've developed, not only the $10 million investment in Novo, but De Grey are going to spend up to $25 million to earn a 50% stake in Becher. So that's very exciting. That puts a very high valuation on the Becher project. De Grey have to spend that money within 4 years. And I think what's really good is allowed Novo shareholders to remain 50% ownership of the project. And that means Novo shareholders have upside in that project. So De Grey Mining have been developing the Hemi or the Balla Gold project for over 5 years. They've taken it from discovery all the way through to 2 million ounces. And we definitely see similar geology at Becher to Balla. So whilst the share price has accretion at De Grey, we're looking for the same opportunity of Novo as we move forwards. So Becher has been an exciting piece of work by our geologist. So here's Becher, and this is just a little snapshot. If you have a look at the picture on the right and look at the scale, it's a very large area. That's almost 8 kilometres by 5 kilometres zone of gold anomalism. We've been drilling Becher since September last year. Up until the formation of the deal with De Grey, we completed over 60,000 metres of air core drilling. For those that aren't familiar, air core drilling allows us to very cheaply sample the surface cover, which is quite shallow here at Becher, 10 to 20 metres, and it also allows us to take a small sample of the underlying hard rocks beneath the soil cover, and from that we can build up a very good picture of what the underlying geology is. And in this case, we're looking for sandstones and intrusions that are very similar to Hemi. So on this picture, you can see that we've identified 4 or 5 key zones. We've seen up to gold targets of about 8 grams per tonne, and we've seen a big zone of gold anomalies. And this is very analogous to what De Grey saw in the early days of Hemi. And that's why De Grey is excited about it. At this early stage, they can see the potential of Becher, and it's because of that that they were investing this huge amount of money into developing this area, $25 million over 4 years. So great success for our exploration team. They're going to go and move on and look for other things. But clearly the work that we've done has shown that Becher has the same elements of Hemi, the same pathfinder elements, the same rock types, and the same gold distribution. So that's really exciting. I should mention that overall, De Grey has a grade of around about 1.5. So that's the type of target that we're looking. This is a large system of disseminated gold that we're looking for. And as I mentioned, De Grey's project is over 11 million ounces in resource. So this is exactly what Novo's after. It's our flagship project. The joint venture allows us to share that risk, and shareholders have an upside potential given that we've only joint ventured 50% of the project. So as I said, the Egina Gold Camp has Becher up the top. Well, down the bottom at Nunyerry, 80 kilometres away, and the Egina Gold Camp is 80 kilometres of continuous tenements that Novo owns. So we're now turning our attention to other projects in that gold camp, with De Grey focusing up the top at Becher. So Nunyerry North, this is very advanced for us. Look at this great picture. You know, this is over 1.4 kilometre strike length of soils and rock chips that have been sampled. You can see the amazing grades, 2.3, 2.13. You can see rock chips up to an ounce in those rock chips. So very exciting project for us. We're now at the stage where we're completing the access into this site to allow drilling, and we really believe that we'll be getting to drilling late August, early September. But this is absolutely magnificent, huge grades, huge opportunity for us, and this is our next key project for drilling within Novo. So part of our exciting portfolio. So if you look at this picture, we've been talking down the bottom right-hand corner. There's Becher that we talked about. There's the Malin Basin that we've been talking about, part of Hemi. And then northwest of that is you've got Balla. This is an area that has had very little exploration. If we take the Malin Basin and the work that Gray's done 5 years ago, that basin had similar exploration, very, very little. So Novo now has this huge package, over 100 kilometres of tenure, all focused on this exciting shear zone, the shoal shear zone. So we are putting the same effort, the same geological understanding that we had for Becher into the Balla zone, and that work is just started. It's very fertile structural corridor. It's again got shallow cover, which helps our exploration. We're really looking for those intrusion type mineralizations that we've seen similar in the Malin Basin. It's had a little bit of work by prospectors in the past, but no company has ever accumulated the tenement package to allow a systematic focus across that tenement. So we're doing wide-scale mapping and soil sampling at the moment, and that should lead us later this year into air core drilling to again start testing the materials undercover and start building a picture. So, you know, if you look at priorities, Nunyerry is our key priority at the moment to go drilling, but right behind that is the work that we're doing on Balla, and we're definitely looking for a Malin Basin Hemi lookalike that De Grey have had in the past. So we're very, very excited by this package, and people should keep an eye on there. So as I said, you know, the Pilbara in Western Australia is our very exciting area. We've got a huge landmass. But we shouldn't forget that in the southeastern part of Australia, in the state of Victoria, we have the Belltopper project. What's really fascinating by Belltopper, it is south of the very large Fosterville mine. So this mine is owned by Agnico. It's a very, very high grade, and the whole Bendigo tectonic zone has produced over 60 million ounces. So it's an exciting area for us to go geologically focused on exploration. Our little tenements you can see here in Becher, in Belltopper, are over about 25 square kilometres. It's had historical workings on gold reefs. There's small shafts that have been developed in the past. So we are systematically using modern exploration technologies to map those gold reefs. We've done a lot of geophysics. We've done a lot of soil sampling. We've done initial first pass drilling. And we've built a really exciting 3D geological model, which we'll now use for targeting our exploration going forwards. So if you look at the program for the rest of this year, you'll hear us talk about drilling holes in Belltopper later this year, leading up to Christmas. And we really are looking for those zones of repeat high-grade gold, very similar to Fosterville. So we're very excited by Belltopper. So please keep an eye on that news flow as we drill Belltopper going forwards. So this is in the pack, but where we've taken exploration in Novo over the last 12 months is we've now built up a very solid exploration and discovery plan for the rest of this year. And then if you look at next year, we've got many targets moving into 2024. So as I said, on the left-hand side of the thing, the edge of Gold Camp, Becher, key focus. We've got the joint venture with De Grey. De Grey will now lead that exploration effort, and as I said, again, spend a lot of money to develop that up. Nunyerry North, we've talked about at the bottom of the slide here. That's our key focus. We'll do over 2,000 metres of RC drilling, as I said, starting in late August. In the middle of the slide, Balla, we've talked about that in the northwest part of Western Australia. It's our next key project. We'll get in to do air core drilling later this year or early next year, and probably around about another 2,000 metres of work in that program. Belltopper, we've just talked about that. We'll do over 2,000 metres of diamond drilling this year. Very, very exciting project for us. And then we still have this large tenement package. So you'll hear us talk about the eastern part of our package and even southern parts of the Pilbara, where we'll continue to do reconnaissance work at first pass drilling. So overall, as a gold exploration company, we've got a very clear pathway going forwards, and it's quite exciting for our exploration team. So as I said before, we do look for other commodities on our tenement package and look at ways to monetize that for our shareholders. So last year we did a joint venture on lithium south of our Nullagine Gold project. We have joint ventured the Quartz Hill project, which is a lithium focused project. Litam is spending money to joint venture into that project, and they'll earn 80% of the project and free carry Novo through to a bankable feasibility study. So, and Litam are very serious. They're spending over $4 million of exploration this year. So that's really, really exciting for us. And I think it really pushes us to have some upside in terms of lithium and what's happening in the battery metal space. And then on the right-hand side of the slide, I talked previously about the West Pilbara area. We've got over 240 square kilometres of tenure, which has really got a perspective that's more based on nickel and copper and lithium. We're in a process of divesting those tenements, and we'll provide an update to everyone over the coming weeks. Those tenements are quite exciting. They're kind of buttressed between Azure Minerals, which is an Australian listed vehicle, which has got some high-grade nickel and lithium. And to the further south, we've got Artemis Resources, the Australian Artemis Resources, which have both nickel and copper projects and gold. So overall, really exciting exposure to our shareholders in both lithium and West Pilbara as we keep that focus on gold. For us, ESG remains really important. Even though we're a small company, and you could argue that with just focus on exploration, we don't do a lot of land disturbance. But overall, our focus on the environment, working with our communities, and particularly our traditional owners, the Aboriginal people that have the country in our area, and really a good focus on governance around the board remains key to the way that we do our work. We think it differentiates us from other explorers of the same size. So, as you heard at the top, we are TSX listed and also obviously here on the OTC platform. We announced a few weeks ago that we will move to the ASX as a dual listing. So that process is well advanced. Our announcement said that we'll move to the dual listing sometime in Q3 this year. So that's over the next 5 to 6 weeks. We believe the ASX platform provides us an opportunity for our shareholders to have a broader mix of stakeholder groups. We're Australian-based. Australian shareholders and investors understand gold very well. That will allow us to increase liquidity, and that definitely will provide, we think, better value and better market recognition, and that will benefit all shareholders. We will also be able to attract Australian institutional investors that are very, very keyed up on gold explorers and are significant investors across those areas. So you'll see the news flow come out on when we cut this process. There will be a small equity raising as part of the process, but the key here is getting onto the ASX to allow all shareholders to benefit in the opportunities that the dual listing will have, and the opportunities Australian-focused gold investors will have on Novo and its share price. So to sum up, as I said at the start, we are a very unique explorer. We have a huge land package, which is unusual. We've got a very good team, and we're very, very focused on looking for large 1 million ounce projects. So that's key. And the investment that De Grey have put into Novo, significant stake that allows us to continue exploration areas, but also De Grey working part of us in the Becher project is absolutely wonderful. We've got this huge portfolio across the Pilbara and Victoria. We're very disciplined, and we've got a systematic process to look at that portfolio. We've taken projects like Becher from reconnaissance all the way into a chance to monetize with shareholders, and we'll do that with Nunyerry, and we'll also do that with Balla and other parts. So we're very good explorers, and the opportunity to have successes like Hemi is very strong. We're in a pretty good position at the moment with $20 million, over $20 million of investments, which is good, and over $20 million Canadian in cash. So we're in a good position for the remainder of the near term in terms of discovery. And as I said, a key milestone, and I think a key trigger for value going forwards, will be listed on ASX. So thanks very much for listening. I've got a few questions here which we'll kind of pick up as we go forwards. So someone talked about our investment portfolio. The detail is on the website. It's quite a liquid. The biggest portion of the investment portfolio is an investment in an E3D technology company. It's about $20 million US investment. They're based out of Denver, but they're unlisted, so that's a key investment. We have some investments in some junior mining stocks in Australia, so they're quite liquid, but they're part of our previous work at Belltopper and joint ventures. And then we also have an investment in San Cristobal mine down in Bolivia. We have a very small position there, and that investment's probably worth about $4 to $5 million. But the key of that portfolio is our unlisted, is investment in an unlisted vehicle, which is E3D, which is part of the historical context of Novo. It's not a strategy that Novo and the current board will prosecute going forwards. We'll look at an opportunity going at some stage to divest that sometime in 2024. Where we are as a business, key catalysts for shareholder growth and kind of re-rating. You'll see us start drilling. Well, De Grey will start drilling again in Becher in September, so keep an eye out for that and the success that comes with that. Drilling in Nunyerry will be very, very important, and also the program for Balla. I think the other key focus for people to have a look at is how the strategic review and divestment strategy goes for Nullagine. That will be a very important part of the transformation of Novo into a clean business. So overall, I think we are a very good business. We are an explorer, so we're not producing gold at the moment. So, those other metrics that you see in terms of ASIC and others don't apply. The key for us is the amount of money that we spend in the ground each quarter. So please keep a look at the MD&A to provide that data, and keep looking at the news flow. On our website, you'll see some great corporate videos showing you the ground across the Pilbara, and there's also more information there on our businesses, and particularly the exploration techniques that we use, which are a little bit different sometimes for what investors in North America are used to. So overall, thanks everyone for taking the time to listen. I do enjoy keeping everyone up to date on Novo Resources.